So my name is Tom Caulfield.
And my name's James Whittle.
Together we are the Tempest 2, and today we kind of want to talk about our most recent adventure when we first got on bikes. But first, a bit of background on us. A year ago, James and I jumped in a 7-metre rowing boat and pulled away from the Canary Islands, rowed 3,000 miles across the Atlantic to Barbados. We'd never rowed before, we'd never sailed before, we basically just gave it a go and luckily survived. Since then, we've left our full-time jobs and we now take on adventures around the world, showing that ordinary people can go and do this amazing stuff. You don't need to be an experienced athlete or professional at anything. You can just go out and do it if you have the right mindset.
Over a beer at the time, we decided that we would want to ride motorbikes from London down to the Sahara. We wanted to make the journey as interesting as possible. We decided to jump on motorbikes, pass our test in a week period, and then 3 days later we would leave for Portsmouth, get the ferry down to Spain and head down from there. And the learning was definitely a bit abrupt and concentrated and tiring and very cold. We did it in the middle of January.
During this week-long period, we got hold of the guys at Triumph and somehow persuaded them to lend us the bikes that would be fit for the job. They were obviously a bit nervous that two guys who had no idea how to ride a motorbike would be taking this on, and obviously had their concerns that we might write off their brand new bikes. But luckily they had a bit of faith in us and they kitted us out with two Tiger 800s. Huge adventure bikes, which I think from our point of view was slightly daunting to begin with. And I think a lot of people see those bikes as kind of only fitting in with experienced riders. And we'd never ridden anything that size, and we're not the tallest either, so we could barely touch the floor, but that's what we were given, and the bikes were incredible, but it was a huge learning curve.
Yeah, I think we wanted to debunk that myth of it being for the middle-aged man, and that's all. We saw these bikes as an opportunity to go and explore Europe and Morocco and the Sahara, and with that in mind, those two bikes were absolutely perfect. We loaded them up with tents, with all of our kit. We had the panniers on the back with some food in, all the clothing, and that was all we needed really. So
we pulled them onto the ferry, fast forward 24 hours. During that time we kind of got the maps out and planned our route. When we had kind of gone through the days and the mileage and everything, we were basing that on obviously no experience on bikes, purely from driving cars. So
it's much easier.
Yeah, we thought that an 8-hour drive in a day would be doable, because I guess in a car you can sit there and kind of, I don't know, I guess daydream and just think about the things on the radio, etc. But it soon became pretty apparent that riding a bike is a totally different kettle of fish to a car. So we landed in Spain. We had, day one was incredible, through the mountains in Morocco, down through the wine regions. We spent the night in a really small town in like kind of the heart of Morocco. We went wine tasting and did all the amazing stuff you could imagine. People kind of take the piss out of us because they say we were meant to be hardened adventurers, yet we were tasting the niceties of Morocco, but for us that's part of it. We then made our way down through Spain. We decided pretty much on the way down to Valencia actually that we wanted to shake it up a bit, because that Gibraltar passage into Morocco is quite western and just a bit, I don't know, a bit done. So I think it was Murcia to Medellin or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the town in Spain. But yeah, we arrived into Medellin, or in the port there, and we kind of got off the boat fairly easily and went to cross the border, and it was just
carnage.
Utter carnage. We were held at about 4 different locations. We could see the border, but it ended up taking us about 4.5 hours. We were getting bribed here and there to buy various stuff. We ended up giving our passports to a random Moroccan bloke who at first we were sure was going to steal our passports and then steal our bikes. But that ended up being the only way to get through the border, and he actually made it.
Going into Medellin was definitely the right choice, because from day one it was proper Morocco. It wasn't westernised or touristy. It was proper Morocco. And
we had to stop once for a pack of cats to cross the road. It was crazy.
What are cats called as a collective?
I don't know.
It's something weird. But yeah, like goats and cats and name it, we saw it, and kind of the chaos of these little places in Morocco where there are no road rules. You just use your horn to tell people that you're going to do something and they just react to it. it was incredibly exciting. And by this point we were fairly comfortable on the bikes. We'd done probably 1,000 miles through Spain, so we were kind of getting to grips with them and a bit more confident. So when we were thrown into that environment, we actually preferred it, I think, to the standard kind of European roads. It was something a bit different.
One thing we learnt about Morocco quite early on and throughout our time there was just that the people were just incredible, so giving and happy to welcome us with open arms and very receiving. And I think we felt that more than anything, more than the roads and the weather, which was amazing and intense at times. The people were just incredible.
Just absolutely wild. Those roads we were going down, there were moments where the sun was going down and it's just desert as far as you can see. The roads are immaculately tarmac, they're incredible. And that was the first time we could properly open up the bikes and see what they could do. And I just remember just having my headphones in, having some music on, just looking around, being like, this is absolutely incredible. And if we'd said that to people when we were doing day one in Welling on our test, that's what we're going to be doing within a couple of weeks, they would have laughed at us. But
well, I still remember the reaction from our instructor that we had there. He said, so when do you guys want to pass? How urgent is it?
How many months?
Yeah, how many months do you want this to take? And we'll try and get you there. And we said, oh yeah, we need to have passed by next Thursday. He's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then he's like, why do you need to pass so quick? And it's like, because we're going to drive down to the Sahara.
Yeah, the following Monday.
And he literally was like, no, you shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. And that's coming from a motorbike instructor who should, in theory, know best. And it's total rubbish. It's not dangerous. If you just get stuck in, it's the best way to learn. Whereas we could have learned over 6 months and then planned another 2 months and then gone and done it, which we would have been far less prepared if we'd done that, rather than doing 9 days of intense riding, getting to grips with the bikes and then just getting stuck in. And I think people have this real fear of going and doing that and think it's reserved for the experienced rider only. But we're glad to say that we are proof that we are safe and sound. And it was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And we've come back. We're certainly not experts by any means, but we're pretty competent riders. We've ridden 2 big adventure bikes, 3,000 miles round trip in a couple of weeks, and we're here to tell the tale.